Hello students, today we are going to talk about our next topic in chapter laws of motion, that is second law of motion. But before going on to the next topic, let us revise some of the things that we have already done. So far we have already discussed about inertia. So what we said is, we said inertia is an inherent property of some body that always oppose the change in the state of motion. So inertia is always to oppose any change in the state of motion. On this quantity depends on the mass. And then we have discussed about the first law, or the law of inertia. So in this law we said that to change the state of motion we need to apply the force. Means in this part, from the first law we have defined force. We said that the force is an cause or is an agent which can change the condition of motion. So this is what we have done in our first part. Now before moving on to second law, let us talk about one more quantity that is called as momentum. So now momentum is the characteristic of a body that is in motion. It is the characteristic of a body in motion. Means, or we can say that it is the quantity of motion contained in a body, or we can say that it is the quantity of motion contained in a body, and its symbol is P, and it is equal to the product of mass and velocity. And if I'm looking at the quantities used here, so we can write its unit also. So its unit is, mass is in kg and unit of velocity is meter per second. So its unit is kg meter per second. So by the word quantity of motion we can see that, let us say that some body of very less mass is there and it's moving with velocity v. Let us say that I'm talking about a cycle. So if it is moving with velocity v, then if I need to stop this moving cycle that is moving with velocity v, then I need to apply some force. And let us say that some heavier vehicle, or for the timing I'm saying that some car is moving with the same velocity. I'm saying that the car is again moving with the same velocity. Then what do we observe? Then we can say that we need to apply more force than the earlier case to stop that car. So what is the difference between the two things that I'm talking about? So mass of motorcycle is less than the mass of the car. So if both are moving with the same velocity, then the body having more mass, we will have to apply more force. Similarly, if in some other case bodies of same mass are moving with different velocities, means one of the vehicle is moving with more velocity, then in that case we will have to apply more force in the case the vehicle is moving with more velocity to stop. So from this discussion we can say that the motion depends on the two things, mass and velocity. So if two bodies moving with the same velocity, then more mass, more force will be required to stop the body having more velocity. And if the both bodies are moving with same velocity and having different masses, then the body having more mass will need more force. So this is the meaning of the quantity of a motion contained in body, and it is a product of both mass and velocity. Now it is a vector quantity. Since velocity is also a vector quantity, so it depends upon the velocity and mass both. So mass is scalar and velocity is vector. So it is a vector quantity, so I am representing this by p vector equal to m multiply v vector, and its direction is same as the direction of velocity. So it is a vector quantity and direction is along the velocity. Now next thing is the change in momentum. Change in momentum. Now due to inertia, we know that there is no change in state of motion due to inertia. And if now I'm saying that the force is applied, so then there will be change in velocity. So means to change in velocity we need to apply force. Means if I want to change velocity, then I need to apply force. And now if there is change in velocity, means this velocity changes, then the momentum will also change. Then the momentum will also change. So now for a small change, we represent it by using delta p. So delta p means change in momentum. And if the body is moving with very less velocity, very less means the fastest velocities of the velocity of light, and the objects are moving with very less velocities than that velocity, means we know that the value of c is equal to 3 multiplied 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So actually practically nobody can move with the velocity of this velocity of light. But for this I'm talking about the change in momentum. So change in momentum may depend upon the change in mass, or also may depend upon the change in velocity. So it may depend upon both. Sometimes mass may change. So mass remains constant. Mass remains constant. Remains constant for velocity is less, or very less than the c. So if the bodies start moving with velocities, if I will say that greater than the velocity of 10 raised to power 6 meter per second. So if the velocity is greater than this range, or if it becomes comparable to the velocity of light, then the mass changes. Or the mass, in this case we know that the mass is equal to m naught over under root of 1 minus v over c square. Means if some body starts moving with the velocity comparable to the velocity of light, then the mass will increase. So we are taking this as a constant. Means I'm taking that mass remains constant. So mass remains constant for velocities, for the body moving with velocities less than 10 raised to power 6 meter per second. So in this case mass will remain constant. So if I'm saying that the mass is constant, then the change in momentum will depend upon change in velocity. It will depend on change in velocity. So this is what we need to remember. Means for constant mass, the change in momentum depends upon change in velocity. Now next thing is rate of change of momentum. So now rate of change of momentum, let us say that some body is initially some body is moving, some body of mass m and velocity v1. So initially, or the initial momentum of the body will be equal to, or will be equal to m multiply v1. And on applying some force, let us say that, so now I'm saying that on application of force F, the velocity changes to v2. Velocity change to v2. So now the final momentum will be equal to m multiply v2. Therefore the change in momentum, so delta p will be equal to final momentum, means mv2 minus mv1, or if I'm taking m is common from these two, then it will be m multiply v2 minus v1. Now we already know this. So in the case of rate, we always divide by time. So now rate of change. So now rate of change of momentum is, I will say now delta P over delta T. So that will be equal to m multiply V2 minus V1 over T. And we already know from the definition of acceleration that change in velocity over time is called as, or the rate of change of velocity is called as the acceleration. So this rate of change becomes m multiply a. So rate of change of momentum is equal to mass multiply acceleration. So please remember, this relation holds only when mass is constant. When mass is constant, please remember this. Therefore we can say that the rate of change of momentum of a body is equal to the product of mass and acceleration produced in it due to the force, and the condition is the mass must remain constant. Please remember this.